For the past few years, the energy crisis that the country has dealt with has made it clear that energy security is a crucial conversation to have. Case in point, the Malampaya gas field, which has supplied up to 20% of Luzon power, has been dwindling down with projections that it will run dry by 2027. On the ground in provincial island areas, the problem grows dire as areas declare a state of calamity due to power crisis, like Samal in May and Occidental Mindoro in April, after only receiving 4 hours of power a day. With major shifts in the energy landscape and global priorities like the UN Sustainable Development Goals, it's high time that we ask the question, what is reliable energy now and how do we secure it? The country's current course of action is to aim for an energy mix that is 35% renewable energy by 2030 and 50% by 2040, in accordance with the Philippine Energy Plan, PEP. Today, we have with us experts from the industry, legislative, and academic fields to discuss how we can get creative about reimagining energy security. Good day, everyone. I'm Ruth Yu-Owen, the chairperson of the Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Committee of the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, and I will be your moderator for this panel. Welcome to our roundtable discussion called Powering Up the Race to Energy Security. Today, we're jumping off from the ECCP's 2023 advocacy papers, specifically the chapter on renewable energy and energy efficiency. To give you a backgrounder, the country has already made moves to transition to renewable energy, or RE. The Chamber recognizes the country's progress with projects like the Philippine Energy Plan 2020 to 2040, which blueprints the monumental task of accommodating a 6.6% annual peak demand growth rate, or doubling in size in 11 years. To aid these initiatives, the paper explores more opportunities the country can take. In pursuit of this, the ECCP recommends 3 key issues to tackle: the creation of a decisive transition strategy for more RE in the Philippine energy mix, the integration of the Visayas and Mindanao grid, and further promotion of ease of doing business in the energy sector. So what does the near future look like for energy security? We have with us our esteemed panel to tear into the discussion. First, we have Danilo V, Vivar, the Chief Science Research Specialist of the Policy Formulation and Research Division in the DOE's Energy Policy and Planning Bureau. Our second panelist is Attorney Montelibano, the President and Executive Director of the Philippine Independent Power Producers Association, Inc., PIPPA. She also functions as a generation and supply representative in the Renewable Energy Market, REM, Governance Committee, and the EVOS Steering Committee. And finally, we have with us Professor Romualdo Wally Del Mundo, known in the industry and academe as Prof. Wally. He is an Associate Professor of Electrical and Electronics Engineering and is currently the Associate Dean of the College of Engineering of the University of the Philippines, Diliman. So hello and welcome, everyone. Can you share with us what problem you're trying to solve in your current role?
From the perspective of the Department of Energy, as it was already embedded in our function to coordinate all activities of the government pertaining to energy conservation, utilization, distribution, and conservation with preferential bias to environmentally friendly and indigenous and low cost of energy resources.
So planning mid to long term, making sure that we achieve energy security, right?
So we are trying to address the ideal energy mix in the future so we can easily go towards moving forwards to the sustainable and clean energy future.
Yes. Thank you, Dan. Anne. Hi.
Well, in one sentence, and as basic as I can say, I'm trying to make the investment atmosphere here in the country more attractive to local and foreign investors so we can build more power plants.
Yes. Well done. Prof. Wally.
Well, as mentor of students who expect to be our future leaders in the country and at the same time mentor of the industry practitioners, I'm very much focused on reducing power rates and solving power outages.
Yeah, and that's quite interesting. So exciting, right? Different perspective. So thank you again to all of you for sharing your time with us today as we tackle such a critical matter. Let's dive right into the discussion. Okay, before we talk about solutions, let's first pinpoint the challenges we face. Ang dami, di ba? A growing concern is an increasing demand for energy. So how have we been faring so far in meeting with our current energy mix? Prof. Wally, what are your thoughts on our current overall power system? And what does our current situation entail for the everyday Filipino?
Well, unfortunately, I cannot say that our power system now is in right condition. However, it does not mean we have no hope. Our power system now is not that ready actually to accommodate more variable renewable energy. In fact, I would like to highlight, since what we would like to attain is more renewable energy, then we have to focus on developing our transmission system and not only the main grid, but actually how to interconnect the many islands in the country, because we cannot maximize renewable energy unless we interconnect also even those small islands. That's number one. So I would like to highlight the problems in the transmission development. And unfortunately, there is this big problem in the lead time for transmissions. Like, if you decide to put up transmission today, that means you will have it 10 years from now. Whereas if you decide to put up solar power plant, you can have it next year. So the problem therefore is that parang may nauuna yata yung...
So where will you connect?
Yeah.
Gagawa ka ng, you put up a solar farm, but where are you going to connect? Because
Yeah.
you need to connect to transport it to your buyer, consumers, diba?
Yeah, that's why we need to change the way we plan our system.
Yes.
We have to proactive. And in fact, I've been advocating, suggesting that after planning the transmission system based on where our renewable energy resources are, targeting, which the DOE naman has a framework. We have what we call the competitive renewable energy zone.
Creds.
But then plan it now and then let the grid owner, the Transco, buy all the right of way already now, so that by the time you want really to start construction, then there is already right of way. It's not a problem, because it's been said that the problem in the transmission development is always right of way. So to me, it's a change of how do we do things.
Change it. So I think Dan later on will be able to expound on and maybe comment on what you just said. But right now, Anne, to help the general public understand what goes on under the hood, what are power generators? What's their major short and long-term concerns to avoid future energy crisis? Major concern. Anong yung problema?
Major, I have top 5.
Wow. Okay.
Major, because I keep repeating that for the past 10 years. So first, what Professor Wally said, transmission. Just to expound a little bit further and to make everyone understand it, transmission lines are like your NLEX or your SLEX, right? They're the highways, they're the national highways of your energy. And then you go down to your smaller roads, which is your distribution, right? But you need your big roads, you need your national highways to connect to your houses, to get anywhere. So that's really number one. Okay, that's our short, medium, and long-term problem. We need to solve our transmission issues. Second, permitting. We need to make it friendlier, faster, on time, predictable, reliable. And then third,
Why is that a challenge?
It's
How many signatures do you need?
before the EVOS, which we greatly thank the DOE for. But it's obviously there's always room for improvement, and we're still improving it because I'm also part of the EVOS. Before the EVOS, it took around 2,000 plus signatures. There was a study. I'm not sure if it was ADB or the World Bank who did a study. I can't recall right now. But 2,000 signatures just to put up a project. So that's quite a lot of signatures, and that means quite a lot of work to be done, right? But after the EVOS, we have greatly reduced the number of days of processing days and the number of signatures that need to be done.
No,
So
but
there.
EVOS, just for the sake of our viewers,
Yes.
is an energy virtual
One-stop
one-stop shop.
shop.
What
So-
does that mean? So that means kung producer ka, you are a power producer.
You log into the system. Okay, so the general concept of the EVOS is to put all your permitting processes
In one place.
Yeah, in one place, in one system, or a centralized. Siyempre, we're all trying to be, computerized, online, and everything. So we're taking advantage of that. However, it's baby steps. So you
Yes.
have government agencies, you have the DENR, you have your DNR, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, for those,
The National Commission
on
on
Indigenous
Indigenous
People,
Peoples.
everything. You have your BIR as well. Everything is supposed to be there.
In one roof.
Yes, in
right?
one roof,
Yeah.
and then it's in a centralized system where you can apply,
Mm-hmm.
and then your permits will get out and be processed one by one.
So with the onset of EVOS, did that reduce the 2,000 signatures
Yes.
to what?
1,700.
1,700? Not bad.
Yeah, not
Baby
bad.
steps,
I'll take
right?
it. Yes, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay. So what's the
I'll take
third
it.
one? You have five.
Okay, third, regulation, policy and regulation. That means the Department of Energy plus the Energy Regulatory Commission. You have your price caps, your market, our concerns on the supply, interpretations of certain policies. So basically, I don't want to get too complicated, but we have to make our regulation more predictable and reliable and friendly to investors so we can put up plans.
Correct.
Because obviously we need to supply.
Yes.
So to be able to do that, we need to incentivize,
Okay.
right? So those are the top three.
Okay.
Then of course, then you have your market, additional markets, which is going to be very technical. Let's say, for example, derivatives or a futures market. And then you have your renewable energy market as well. So those things make up a robust energy industry.
Yeah.
But that's the short, medium, and long term. So it's not just short to long, but it comes in different stages. So those are the top five.
Okay, good.
There.
So apparently a lot of challenges, right?
A
So
basket. A basket. There.
Dan, what changes can the people in Visayas and Mindanao expect, no? Yung progress natin sa grid. You're in the planning,
Yes.
research, etc. Is there hope, light at the end of the tunnel?
Yes, ma'am, naman. Kasi we have a vision naman. Matagal na we need to make one grid Philippines. Meaning we have to interconnect all
How many
major
grids do we have now?
Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao grids.
So, two.
So, right-
Luzon, Visayas, isa yan, diba?
Yeah.
And then
right
Mindanao.
now, it already connected na yung Luzon and Visayas, but we still have
connect Mindanao.
a project to be completed. Right now, yung connection ng Visayas and Mindanao is more than 80% in completion na siya. So maybe kung matatapos to, we can reduce the power interruption, like because we can, if ever there is a surplus in Mindanao, they can transmit it to Visayas.
Right now, hindi di ba? Because
Vice
it's not-
versa.
So when can they expect this one grid to happen?
This year we have more than 80% completion yung interconnection ng Visayas.
So anong year? 2025, 2026?
2024. It's
2024,
2024.
next year na.
Yeah.
So next year, we can call for the
Hopefully.
Philippines na one grid na tayo. That means if you're producing power from Mindanao,
Oh, yeah.
you can sell to Luzon, to Visayas,
Yes, ma'am.
diba? Through
It could bring around 450 megawatts.
Is it through the WESM or kunyari isang grid na siya, 'di ba? Ngayon ang problema kung nasa Mindanao ka, hindi ka pwedeng magbato ng power, hindi mo pwedeng ibenta kasi hindi ka connected. Pero yung sinasabi natin that it has to
Yes,
next year pwede na.
Next year pwede na. Kasi right now, independent pa rin yung Mindanao grid. Sa grid niya, hiwalay pa rin sa grid ng Visayas and Luzon.
Yeah. Okay, so Prof. Wally, may idadagdag ka ba dito sa mga challenges na to?
Yeah, baka makalimutan natin nung mag-restructure tayo ng power industry
Oo.
at sineparate natin yung negosyo ng generation, transmission, distribution. Now, may dalawang coordination function na kailangan. One of them is the commercial coordination and facilitation. Yan yung ating WESM or electricity market. Pero very important, yung system operation function, which must be independent from the business sector. Kasi ngayon, it's very unfortunate, sa buong mundo, tayo na lang ang kaisa-isang bansa na yung system operation na involved doon sa technical coordination ng industry ay siya rin ang ating transmission operator. That's why ako nga, I am advocating for the separation of separation
right
of
now,
this.
ano yun?
No,
Separation ng, ano yung entity ngayon? Are you talking
yung
of
NGCP,
GN?
which now the O&M concessioner ng ating transmission, siya ang ating transmission operator. Siya yung siya ang
Siya nag-operate ng highway.
Pero kailangan din kasing i-coordinate, lalo na kung meron tayong mga variable renewable energy, yung pinag-uusapan nating operating reserves, yung magre-responde kapag ka nagkaroon ng power outage sa power plant. System operation ang tawag doon. And hindi tayo pwedeng magpadami ng renewable energy na intermittent and variable kung hindi maayos itong aspeto na ito. Sa ngayon, despite the grid code standard na sinasabi na dapat wala kang brownout dahil meron kang tinatawag na contingency reserve, meron kang tinatawag na backup reserve, meron tayong 42 outages sa grid level sa isang taon. So,
Kaya,
hindi dapat nangyayari ito.
Kaya.
Now, I'm highlighting this problem because this will be the biggest hindrance towards increasing more renewable energy. Kaya nga lagi may mga konseptong mapasok na siguro kailangan natin ng mga ESS o yung energy storage system, etc. All of this actually kasama dun sa framework ng system operation and control. Na kung hindi natin maayos, hindi rin natin mamimit yung ating pagdami ng renewable
yung goal
energy.
natin na,
Yes.
okay.
So, wag natin kakalimutan yan.
Ann, meron ka bang gustong idagdag dito sa mga problema, challenges?
Wala naman.
Wala
I
na.
mean, if maybe just to make it easier to understand, like what Professor Wally was saying, in order to welcome RE, in which we are preparing for, you're putting more technology, other sources So that means your grid has to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
So there should be studies on how much capacity. Okay, it's like a voltage. If you plug too many things, it's going to short. It's as simple as that. And Professor Wally just means to say that we should be prepared because under the grid code or under a regulation, systems need to be in place and you have to have the right materials in order for your grid to work.
So it has to be ready, in other
Yes.
words, right?
Right.
Kunyari, you're going to build this power plant, tapos wala ka namang pagsasaksakan, diba? Or wala kang
Exactly.
pagbebentahan. Or meron kang bebentahan, pero yung kung paano mo
Yeah.
i-deliver yung power na yon, wala
Yeah.
yung infrastructure
Yung
na
traffic.
yon.
Yeah.
Yun,
Yun.
diba?
Hindi
Parang,
kaya ng line.
oo,
Yun.
hindi kaya.
So,
Kasi
magsha-short
maliit
siya.
yung kalye.
Oo,
Diba?
yes,
So,
ganon.
daming sasakyan, pero maliit yung kalye. So, that's how it works in a very layman
Yes.
term.
Yun.
Dagdag ka.
Yes, of course, you can see the importance of interconnection of grid, but also we need to think that we also need to decentralize the other
Decentralization.
standalone grid,
Yun.
like using others, for instance, in power plant areas or marginalized communities. We have a program on what do you call this, PBM, photovoltaic solar mainstreaming. Mainstreaming, and it's a installation of a solar home system
Okay.
to those marginalized families.
Yeah. Tama yan. Decentralization.
Decentralization
Diba?
also is very
Ang
important.
Pilipinas, we have more than 7,100 islands. So, kailangan natin isipin, paano maging independent ito? Kunyari, bumagyo. Diba? Biglang wala na silang kuryente. Yung transmission line, naputol na. Wala nang connectivity.
Parang may
Ngayon,
ancillary tayo, no?
Oo.
Sa other
Parang,
areas na can back up
meron
yung
ka
other
doon,
areas.
oo, nandun may solar rooftop ka, for example, or may solar farm ka dyan, hindi ka apektado,
Yeah,
no?
hindi ka
So you
apektado.
become more independent. So that's
Independent,
energy security also, in a
energy
way.
security.
Yeah. So very good. So, next question. How equipped are we to implement energy efficiency and flexibility practices? Ano yung gap uh, that we have to fail to maximize the potential of this sector. Okay, energy efficiency is the low-hanging fruit. Ano, parang sinasabi nila, kung magiging efficient ka, kunyari, eto, nandito tayo, yung ilaw na to, pag pinatay mo, that's energy saving, right? Ang energy efficiency, may ilaw ka pa din, pero efficient ka, hindi mataas ang kuryente mo, you are contributing to the environment. So, how can our consumers be more energy efficient? Prof. Wally, start with you.
Well, unang-una, ang good news naman dyan, yung presyo halimbawa ng LED, 25 pesos to 50 pesos, may LED
Affordable.
na tayo. Naging affordable siya, meaning ma-access na siya ng ordinaryong consumer. I remember when we were starting the LED, I bought my first LED bulb at 1,500 pesos.
Wow, sana all.
Kasi yun yung itinuturo ko. So sabi ko, kailangan mag-practice naman ako ng itinuturo ko.
Tama,
So
tama.
I even bought it at that price. But can you imagine after...
How many years
less than-
ago was that?
I think just 7 years ago.
Wow.
Pero grabe yung baksak ng presyo ng kwan. And it's because more people are now buying LED. And so, it's
So that's
kinailangan
lighting, right?
Oo.
But what about air conditioning? Meron ba tayong pwedeng gawin?
Yeah, ganun din, no? Yun din ginawa ko sa personal experience, no? Pinalitan ko yung aking aircon ng inverter type kasi mas
Yun,
mura.
inverter type.
Well, ang talagang dito ay makatipid doon sa binabayad sa kuryente.
Tama.
Dahil sa power rates nga yung problema natin sa bansa, so maghanap tayo ng paraan na makakamura tayo pero hindi natin ginigive up yung convenience. No?
So,
That's what
kunyari,
called efficiency.
nag-inverter type aircon kayo, diba? Pag ako, bumili ako ng inverter type, ang pinag-uusapan natin, Ann, kanina, is medyo mahal yung investment. But you have to invest, right? So, Ann, paano yun? Mag-i-invest ka. Pwede ka naman ng zero interest, 12 months to pay. Diba?
Yeah.
Pero, ang maganda doon,
In the long run, mafe-feel mo yung effect sa kuryente mo.
ilang percent ng kuryente mo ang bumaba? Because of inverter type kayo.
Ako 30%.
Ako din. Ayan, nagpalit din
Kasi
ako.
even my refrigerators and my all inverter, nag-shift na eh.
Alam mo, di ba, Dan,
Yes, ma'am.
sa probinsya, minsan, bibentahan ka nila ng mga TV na luma na, galing ng Japan, mga ganon. Hindi siya efficient eh. Hindi siya efficient kasi ang electricity, ang kuryente mo, binabayaran mo siya monthly. So, pag pinalitan mo ng TV na medyo energy efficient siya, aircon, ilaw, yung monthly bill mo bumababa. So, yung investment mo is worth it. Ang payback natin, kunyari, nag-invest ka sa aircon and all that, siguro mga 2 years, payback ka na.
Yeah.
Tapos, 30% ng electricity bill mo, bumaba na. So, I think, di ba,
Yes,
Dan?
ma'am. Actually,
Nagpalit
it's,
ka rin ba ng TV?
It's a natural behavior naman sa families na pag nasasaktan na yung bulsa mo because of your electricity bill, it's a nature that you will going to save your electricity. Minsan pinapatay
Patayin
na
yung
kahit
ilaw.
patayin yung ilaw niyo mga anak. Dahil ganyan. Pero if you have no options, kasi tayo may option tayo dahil meron tayong can afford to buy that efficient technologies. But for those families na wala talagang options, minsan pinapatay na lang talaga nila. It's energy
saving.
conservation na
Yeah,
lang.
yeah.
Not efficiency.
Yeah. So, kasi nawawala na yung comfort mo, yung sinasabi na.
Wala na yung
Comfort mo. Okay, thank you. So, with these challenges as a springboard, we can now explore short and long-term strategies to address this. Based on the Chamber's advocacy paper, let's chew on the recommendations. Sige, pakinggan natin to. In pursuing energy security, a potential boon is our energy storage capacities. What moves can we make to maximize this technology for energy security in the next 5 to 10 years? So, anong investments do we need to make for the generation sector to augment? So can you focus more on technicality and commerciality options in the near term for yung mga generator mo? And
Mahaba. Okay. So what exactly, let's try to narrow it down. So what exactly do you want for the battery, Bess? For the
yeah, let's
energy
start with
storage
that.
systems?
Yeah.
Yeah, Okay. Basically, an ESS, or for battery energy storage systems. It's like the DOE recently came up with a circular on that, and we thank the DOE for exploring that, because it's good that we try to look at other sources of backup energy. Yung mga ganun. So a BESS essentially is like a battery. Obviously, it's a very big battery for systems, right? So,
Anong ginagawa niya?
sinostore niya yung mga variable kasi pwede siyang hybrid, okay? So, may yung best normally, yung mga hindi, let's say your VREs, or what you call your variable renewable energy, that's your solar, your wind, yung mga ganyan, di ba? Yung mga hindi mo nakaka-capture kasi intermittent siya. Ibig sabihin, pag wala, di wala, di ba? Hindi siya like 24/7 nandyan.
Pero kasi may battery.
Dahil may battery, natatrap mo, di ba? The basic science of it, natatrap mo yan, nasa-save mo into this system, di ba? Yung sa battery na yan. At pag kailangan, pwede siyang tumakbo. So,
Pwede
pwede
sa
siyang
gabi.
backup. Yes. Pwede siyang backup, pwede siyang ancillary, di ba? That will help your unstable grids, di ba, Professor Wally? So, that will help your unstable grids, and it can be an additional source.
Mahal ba ang battery?
Mahal ba yung battery?
I think it's about additional 10% sa cost ng ano mo.
Ng installation mo. So, alam mo, yung solar before ang mahal, di ba?
Yes.
It went down by 95% from what it was, and that is how battery is perceived to happen. So, magiging affordable na rin ang battery. So, magiging,
Kagaya ng requirements natin sa e-vehicle, di ba?
Yeah.
Pinopromote din natin to dahil for GHG emission reduction.
Yung greenhouse gas.
But you can see the cost of battery for e-vehicle is I think more than 60% yung battery.
Yeah.
Yung cost, kaya yun ang kailangan nating pag-aralan, research development, kung paano tayo magkakaroon ng battery na affordable
Yun.
and efficient.
But talking of storage system, baka makalimutan natin, ang bansa natin, marami pa tayong potential ng hydro. We still have about 20,000 megawatts of hydro. At may importanteng technology sa hydro na meron tayo, yung Kalayaan Pump Storage sa hydro.
Pump storage.
Out of the 20,000 megawatt, napakarami pang potential na pwede tayong
Sir
mag-storage.
Prof. Wally, let's explore that.
Yeah.
Ano yung pump storage? Ibig
Yung
sabihin,
pump
simplify.
storage, okay. Tuwing madaling araw halimbawa, yung planta na yan, power plant na yan, ay magpapump ng tubig sa mas mababang level, no? Iaakyat niya yung tubig, tapos pwede niyang gamitin yung tubig na nasa taas na anytime, especially kung mahal ang presyo ng kuryente, no? Or in fact, dahil hydro ito, ito ang pinakang mabisang controller or stability ng grid. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, let us encourage battery storage system para sa stability and control. Pero ang sinasabi ko, kung babalikan natin ang history ng electricity system, kahit nung 1900 pa, nung nag-umpisa ang kuryente or ang mga hydropower plant, ang grid actually na-develop dahil na-invento ni Nikola Tesla yung transformer, yung alternating current system na tinatawag. At dahil doon, nagtayo ng maraming malaking hydropower plant at dinala sa malayong lugar. At that created the power grid. What I'm saying is that 100% renewable naman ang inumpisahan ng power grid and controllable. And it's because hydropower ang nagko-control. Kaya wag nating kakalimutan, meron tayong solusyon
Tama,
actually.
pump storage. Yeah.
Oo.
So, teka, go Dan.
Yung pump storage kasi, if you're going to analyze yung cost niya, mas mahal pa yung
Pero
pump,
pump
yung electricity
storage
you are using in pumping the water to higher elevated storage, di ba? Ipapump mo yan sa gabi.
Kasi
Pero mas
mura
mahal,
yung kuryente.
mas mahal yung electricity gagamitin mo sa pump kaysa sa generate yung power. Kaya sa peak lang siya ginagamit. Nagge-generate lang siya sa peak para ma-compensate yung negative niya, dahil negativity kasi mas mahal nga yung pagpump mo ng tubig, tapos magge-generate ka, mas less ang income mo.
Oo.
But nag-strategize sila dyan. Ang ginagamit nilang pump, pag start up ng thermal plant,
Oo.
para makatipid sila. Kaya until now, in-operational pa rin yung Kalayaan.
Yun. So, good point, good point. So, yung sa mga issue yung ease of doing business. Madali ba? Kung negosyante ako, gusto kong mag-invest sa energy sector, renewable, ganyan. Madali ba? Ano yung mga challenges natin na kailangan ma-implement para mapadali ang pagpasok ng mga negosyante na gustong makatulong sa energy security ng Pilipinas? Ano kaya yung mga the ease of doing ikaw? Kasi yung mga ano mo,
Sa
as
Permits. Permits
Permits,
and regulation talaga. Diba? Like, I think with any business, not just the generation sector, permits is the number one concern
Oo.
of all investors and yung mga stakeholders. How long will we take to finally get this permit, to put up a project, to put up a plant? Will we get delayed? How much penalty because of each day of delay sa construction? So it's really at the bottom line is permitting. And then yun nga, yung parang, is there enough infrastructure? If, let's say for the generators, if we put up this plant here, meron ba tayong linya? Diba? Kunyari, mag-ano kami, tawag doon, magpapatayo kami ng renewable energy plant, right? There's a CRES, dedicated, pero paano kung hindi pa ayos yung Di, wala na.
Oo.
Kumbaga, mag-turn off ka, ma-disincentivize ka.
Simplify it,
and
and meaning, kung 2,000 signatures yung kailangan mo, isa lang dyan ang hindi pipirma,
Wala
parang
na.
nagda-drive ka, tapos bigla na lang may gumit na at parang stop, diba? And so yun yung mga issues like, I'm a proponent too, right? I have projects in renewable energy. And the problems I have, ranges from land acquisition, DENR, NCIP, and each area is different.
Yes. And
Iba yung behavior,
Yeah.
iba yung
And
challenges.
sometimes,
Iba.
di ba, meron pang mga magic. Let's say you'll base it on a regulation. There's a checklist, right? So ito yung unang madaming reklamo. And then from the checklist, biglang nagkakaroon ng isa pang
Another
checklist na
checklist.
hindi mo alam. Pero wala talaga siya dun sa, I mean, we all know that alam nila yan. Kasi parang, okay, so you prepare all your documents. I have everything. I'm ready to submit. And then someone will tell you, oh no, we still need this. We still
Bawal daw yon. You know, yesterday, we had Secretary Ernie Perez of ARTA, the Anti-Red Tape Authority Secretary. And he's saying, bawal yan. Kung binigyan ka na ng listahan na ito lang yung list, tapos binigyan ka pa, bawal yan. So, but you know, ARTA, in a way, is also very efficient, effective for people that needs permits, etc. Pag inupuan, pag pinatagal, pag pinahirapan, you know, when ARTA steps in, it mobilizes that.
Mobilizes.
So that ease of doing business also helps, no? And I think so yun yung experience namin in
Yung
the project.
transaction na 7, 15, 20.
Yes, 7 days you have to respond.
Yes.
Na parang 3 days na lang yata.
3, 7, and 20.
Yun.
3 for simple transaction, then 7 for comprehensive,
Oo.
and then 20 for highly technical.
Ito yung sinasabi ni Dan, the response na that you are, if kunyari sa DOE,
Oh, yeah.
sabi ni Arta, Dan, kailangan ko ng ganito. In 3 days, you have to respond.
Yes.
Kung hindi, you will be investigated.
Yeah.
So medyo, I think it also helps, right? Parang ganyan. So there is hope. It's not all negative. So let's say, we should also discuss the unique geographical factors we must consider as an archipelago. How can we ensure energy security in far-flung areas? Far-flung areas.
Yeah. Ito na nga yung nasabi ko kanina tungkol din sa program ng DOE kasi we have a total electrification program that we need to, the government need to electrify 100% ng
May ang EU project with DOE, di
EU
ba?
ASEP.
Oo.
Yun nga yun yung they are installing solar home system
Yun.
for those marginalized families sa far-flung
Far-flung
areas.
areas. Okay.
Para but this is pero ang ISIS pa rin ang magiging may-ari nun. Sila pa rin ang
Yung mga electric cooperatives.
franchise.
Oo. So silang may-ari, hindi yung
Sila ang
mga tao.
may-ari.
Pero nakakatulong na kayo doon sa far-flung areas. So, decentralization, let's talk about that, Prof. Wally. Ano yung decentralization? Why is that important for an archipelago like the Philippines?
Tama yon kasi alam natin mahal ang interconnection in the
Yun.
first place. No? That's what, it's very expensive. Kaya somehow, yung factor ng pagiging archipelago natin, factor yan kung bakit mataas ang rates natin. Meron tayong aspeto na component na wala yung ibang bansa. Tayo, ito yung magiging ano.
Iwa-hiwalay tayo, di ba?
But, therefore, we have to look at optimal solutions na tinatawag yung least cost. Now, because of the high prices of fuel nowadays, and the lowering cost of solar in particular, now, in our estimate, it would be least cost to hybridize the diesel power plants in these islands that we have. So, Napocor, for example, NPC SPAG has around 270 plus islands, and all of these are in diesel. We believe that by simply hybridizing using solar, we can reduce our dependence from the UCME, our universal charge, or our
Missionary
subsidy.
electrification.
Yes,
So, Prof. Wally, yung hybridized, you're saying it's really mixing yung diesel na existing nila with, let's say, solar.
Yes.
Ganyan. So, i-hybrid mo siya para mas bababa yung kuryente.
Pag sinasabi natin na hybrid natin sila, tuwing may araw,
Yun. Pwede
may
nilang
kuryenteng
gamitin yung
lalabas
solar.
ng solar, then you don't need to use your fuel.
Oo.
In
Pwede
other
rin
words,
battery.
You displace. Oo.
Battery.
Now, base doon sa tinatawag na load profile, yung klase ng paano
Yung consumption.
every hour ang ating mga consumers sa rural areas, meron pang kuwang ito kahit na mahal ang battery, may additional na maitutulong, makakapag-reduce pa rin ng cost of electricity sa gabi, so that we can reduce the use of fossil fuel. Not only because of climate change, but really because it will
It makes
reduce
commercial
cost.
sense. Oo, tama. Ann, may dadagdag ka ba dyan?
Wala na, sabi.
Wala, sinabi niya lang, nag-lecture na.
Nag-lecture na siya eh. Wala, nag-lecture na siya. To take it away, nakaganyan na lang ako.
Idea, sir, is yung
Tama naman.
smart home. Yung smart home, parang meron tayong ina-hybridize natin yung source ng power sa halimbawa sa isang bahay. Kompleto na siya. Kung hindi pwedeng gamitin si solar, mayroong other sources ng energy sa isang bahay.
Pwede.
Parang smart home siya.
Oo.
Hybridize.
Oo. Okay, now that we've explored the potentials of our transition to RE, the new important role of energy storage, the continuing role of energy efficiency, and options to power up off-grid areas, let's paint a picture of what we can expect in the future. In the paper, the Chamber highlighted improve ease of business, a decisive transition strategy, and strengthening the national grid. But how close are we to making this a reality? Ann, ikaw, ladies first.
Oh no, nakatingin pa naman ako.
Hindi na, magla-lecture.
Oh no. How close are we? Wow.
Ano yung
That close
theoretical timeline, blueprint? When do you think the Philippines can run fully on RE?
Long pa.
Matagal pa.
We will work. The goal is there, which is good. We already have the political will and the mandate, right?
Yes.
So it all starts there anyway. So that's fine. As long as we have that vision and we're working towards it, it's good. But we need everything to work together and to be in place so we can achieve the 2030, 2040, 2050 goal targets.
All hands on deck, right? All hands on deck, private sector, government, everyone.
And same vision, everyone.
Yes.
So from the policy makers, the regulators, to the business sector.
To the consumer.
To the consumer.
And I
Yes.
think
So
yun yung
it's-
prosumer na sinasabi
exactly,
natin. Diba?
yeah.
Ano
So-
yung prosumer?
Of prosumers, that means pinagduktong nating producer
And
at saka consumer.
Ano yung perfect example
ang
doon?
perfect example niyan, yung mga may bahay, naglagay ng solar sa kanilang roof.
Ginamit yung solar.
Ginamit yung solar, that means nagpo-produce ka ng kuryente, no? But then, of course, you are basically a consumer. So
You
that's
consume
where
what you
prosumer
produce.
is. So,
So meron kang, you have a say to
tapos
that.
ang maganda dyan, meron tayong net metering program
Yun.
na kung sumobra, halimbawa,
Hindi mo ginamit.
weekends,
Hindi mo ginamit.
kaunti lang consumption mo, so pwede naman mabenta
Ibenta.
doon sa...
Pwede mo ibenta kay Meralco, for
Meralco,
example.
hindi mo
Right?
nagamit.
So,
Oo.
so parang i-offset mo yon.
Oo.
So, kunyari, nag-produce ka ng 20 kilowatt, tapos 10 lang na ano mo, yung 10 kilowatt, pwede mo ibenta kay
Babayaran
Meralco.
ka ni Meralco,
So, yung
yan.
babayaran mo kay Meralco, bawas
Bawas
na.
na.
So, you are a prosumer.
Oo.
Prosumer. So, that's a good word for
Win-win.
you. Yes, yes. Medyo, ano. So, Dan, meron ka bang, ano?
Actually, ma'am, kung iisipin natin, kailan siguro magkakaroon ng sustainable development or renewable energy penetration 100% is if you're going to look at our power mix in 2021, coal is 58% eh. Parang kung titingnan mo, nakakatakot talaga dahil ang 2022, 22% lang si RE and then 18% si natural gas. So, yung Department of Energy nga nag-target siya ng
35%
parang aspirational target na 35%
by 2030.
2030 and 50% by 2040. Pero nakikita ko it's marirealize natin to kasi because of our policy mechanism sa renewable energy, we have the RPS, Renewable Portfolio Standard na the generator should generate a certain percentage of renewable energy, and then we have this net metering, we have the GOP or
The green energy option.
green energy option and auction, and then FIT meron pa rin tayo nito,
Yung feed-in tariff.
feed-in tariff until now. So that is yung computation ng 35% then is based dun sa ma-generate mong renewable energy in a long term.
Oo.
Kaya nag-come up sila dyan ng NREB.
So kung 50% by 2040 na RE projection, yung tinatanong dito is 100% ba? So kung by 2060 ma-achieve ba natin yung 100% na RE?
Buhay pa paya tayo dun, ma'am.
Hindi kailangan sagutin yung tanong na yan. Ang tanong is, magiging 100% RE ba tayo? Oh.
So palagi ko naman hindi naman ganoon kabagal na ngayon yung development ng renewable
Because
ng
of
renewable
technology.
energy because of the new technologies. Mabilis na, unlike before, ngayon sinabi ko kanina na noong 1973 puro oil tayo. Just because of oil crisis, the volatility of oil price, nagkaroon ng heavy stain sa Philippine economy dahil sa taas ng presyo ng oil. So
Nag-shift
we
tayo to
opted
coal.
to shift to coal consumption. So we in place policies like mandatory use of coal in cement plant and power generation. Naglagay tayo niyan. And then we realized that goal, ito lang 2020 dahil nakita natin na mandatory na si coal.
Pero
As of-
geothermal, Dan. Di ba nag-geothermal din tayo? Kaya
Yeah.
tayo yung pinaka...
In 1980s.
We were one of the biggest
Yes.
producer of
About
geothermal.
1,900 megawatts we have that.
Yun.
Ang goal natin is to become leading producers of geothermal steam. Dati next tayo sa US.
Yun. Oo.
Di ba?
Ngayon,
But-
pangatlo na lang
Pangatlo
tayo.
lang tayo dahil nasingitan tayo ng
In Indonesia. So, ano ba yung geothermal?
But-
You generate power from the
The
steam on the ground,
oh,
diba?
Meron na
Yung
tayong
magdadrive.
marami na tayong expert dyan sa geothermal. In fact, nagiging consultant na nga yung mga geothermal expert dito Nagsusupport na sila sa
Indonesia,
and other
US.
international
Oo.
organizations.
Wait lang let me just challenge you further. So to achieve, kunyari, status quo lang tayo dito, 50% RE by 2040. But we're talking of 100% RE. Paano natin ma-achieve? Do you think technology is the game changer? Artificial intelligence. Look, people are using ChatGPT, ganyan, diba? To do things. But power driven by AI can just fast track. Don't you, Prof. Wally, I want to pick your brain on that.
Yes, potentially kasi nga yung pinakang susi para makapag 100% renewable energy ka, yung tinatawag na control ng grid, given na may mga intermittents. So, since control is the issue, artificial intelligence actually is one of the, today, the most promising
Game changer.
solution towards perfecting the control. So I believe that there is an opportunity to look at application of AI para magamit mo rin to kung ang pupuntahan natin is toward 100% renewable energy. Siguro magandang bigyan ng diin yung in terms of potential, meaning resource in the country. Thousands and thousands of megawatt ang resource natin sa Pilipinas na renewable energy. Photovoltaics, we have maybe more than about 300,000 megawatt. Wind, meron tayong at least 600,000 megawatt. So, dami nito na pwede, no? So, kumbaga mo, yung opportunity ng bansa natin, yung swerte tayo, marami tayong renewable energy sources. So, kaya lang talagang ayusin ng plano, tapos gamitin natin ang tamang technology at maging maayos. And ako sa tingin ko, kasunod na rin naman ito kanina, hindi natin kasi napag-uusapan. Pag sinabi natin kasing energy security, dalawang dimension yan. Both availability of supply to meet our demand in a reliable manner and affordability. So, but I'm very sure that with the trend of reducing cost of renewables, then we are naturally addressing power rates at the same time, making it affordable.
You're right. And, di ba yung mga members nyo sa PIPPA, some of those I know strive to top technology, artificial intelligence in particular, to make them more efficient, to drive the level of efficiency of their operations in their power plants and all that. But can you imagine, we're still on the onset of the growth of AI, pero nandyan na yung parang, how can you, for me, I see it as a game changer. It will make things work faster, more coordinated.
Yeah, allow me to digress because we're jumping into a beautiful future.
Yes.
Allow me to digress because it's good, but to get to that, you need stable power. You need an energized system in order to be able to efficiently employ artificial intelligence, to be able to run all of your systems. You need power. You need to be developed. How do you get there? We're not even there yet. We have brownouts.
Yes.
We are,
Right,
I mean,
right.
I'm from the I come from the province. I spend my time mostly in the province. There's always low voltage.
Outage.
How can you run artificial intelligence in your operations or your projects when your country is not power up? I mean, energized.
Tama.
Diba? So, kaya nga siguro, alam mo to digress because
Pwede
it's all
naman
good
siya
and
parallel
yes, but
diba?
it cannot function as efficiently as you want because the main goal of having a good system and to make use of all those technologies is it already assumes that you have the good base to make it work. So for RE or all the other technologies, we still believe, like all of our members, we're a healthy mix. It needs a healthy mix because we still need to be a developed country and we're still developing.
Yeah.
We need to get that infrastructure down in place, right? So, until then, you need a balanced and healthy mix in the system. You need to have a good base load. When I say good base load, is that you need to have a power plant that can run 24/7, delivering your energy to each Filipino household, to all of your industries, diba? Your factories, everyone. So we'll improve, diba? So we will improve. We will be able to get where we want commercially, economically. Our GDP will improve. Everything will improve, right? So, and then for RE baseload, you have your geothermal. But you need to also invest in the drilling and, trying to research R&D, development, exploration. Kasi kailangan mo yun eh. You need a good baseload RE.
Correct.
It's always a healthy mix until we get to that vision that we can do full transition. But until then that we can explore all the efficient systems and make use of all the improvements that everyone else is enjoying, then let's try to make sure that we have stable
Yes,
electricity.
yes. Yung
Reliable.
foundation muna.
Yes, our
May
foundation.
question pa din, ano ba yung mga option for base load?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diba?
Diba?
Pwede rin ng nuclear, di ba?
Nuclear. Naku,
Kasi-
nakita ko 2,500 yung projections ng DOE for nuclear by
30s,
30s. Okay. Anong
But sa ngayon, kasi we still need to create yung regulatory body
Yes.
bago ma-i-pursue to kasi nasa Congress pa rin yan eh.
It's an
Nasa
option,
legislative-
right? It's an option.
And we are adapting the IAEA milestone approach from phase 1 to phase 3. Kaya
Nasa phase ano tayo?
Phase 1 pa rin tayo.
Phase
ngayon.
1, okay.
Based dun sa IAEA assessment just recently
Okay.
nung nagkaroon sila ng in-year mission.
Yeah. Okay. Sige. Meron bang tanong di, how much land is projected to be required for solar PV and wind farms? Parang, kung gusto ko magtayo ng solar farm, kunyari, 1 megawatt, 10 megawatt, how much land do I need? Ang dami ba? Makuupos ba yung lupa natin na are we competing with agriculture?
Basically, kung magtatayo ka ng 1 megawatt na solar power plant, so kailangan mo ng 1 hektarya.
Hektarya.
So, kung ilang megawatt ang kailangan natin, we'll just multiply. But it's basically the same number of hectares that we needed.
Is it competing with
Totoo
food?
na mayroong competition to. In fact, may challenge sa food security. Kaya ang dapat na ginagawa natin ay matuto tayong magtanim sa ilalim ng solar.
Mga mani?
Yung mga pwede natin itanim.
Mga kukamote, ganon.
So kayang i-balance yung
I-balance.
food security and solar.
Pero, yeah.
Floating solar.
Floating solar is
Rooftop.
one. Rooftop. Okay, rooftop. Ito. So the DOE, I know, is already giving incentives for, dati kasi, behind the meter lang, diba? Kunyari, meron akong roof na malaki, tapos yung consumption ko, ganun din kalaki. So maglalagay ako ng solar sa bubong ko. Kunyari, factory ako. Kaya kong ubusin yung kulang pa, diba? Pero ngayon, inaalaw na ng DOE na yung mga rooftop na kahit na yung consumption niya mababa, pero ang dami niyang roof, pwede mo nang gamitin ngayon. So that is an alternative for land.
Yeah.
If you look at the space, the roof around the country, ang daming walang rooftop solar. Lagyan mo ng rooftop solar yan, you are in effect not competing with food anymore, right? You're not using the land that's meant for food, for example.
Tapos yung financing, by the way, yung pag-ibig, inaalaw na nila ang loan ngayon.
for solar.
Solar ang kwan mo. So, kasi nga,
Pag-ibig.
na-realize na rin ang pag-ibig na that's being part of the house now.
That's right, yeah.
So,
And there's a lot
kung magkatabi ng bahay,
of property developers that are packaging their homes with solar na, diba? So, and I think that's really the way to go. So, in the meantime, what do you think the Philippine energy system should do to meet the demand for over 110 million Filipinos? Parang you're trying to save the world, no? I mean, who wants to go first? May sagot pa kayo dyan?
Actually, sa Philippine Energy Plan, we are projecting yung demand natin in a medium term, long term, through scientific tools like econometrics. Ganyan. And then, that is based on demand ng projection. Pinoproject natin muna yung demand, then we come up with the optimization ng supply through, for instance, yung LEAP, yung ginagamit namin sa supply for optimization ng supply. Then, pero yung demand namin is pinoproject muna namin. And then, of that demand, yung supply mo, makukuha mo na yung supply mo. And then, based dun sa projection namin, ma-achieve naman natin yung demand in the future.
Okay, so may proper planning tools, etc. ang DOE.
Meron pa nga tayong potential, for instance, yung offshore wind, based dun sa study ng World Bank. Pag na-realize natin yun, we only have around 26 megawatt in capacity, sa total capacity ng Pilipinas ngayon, ang potential niya is more than 170 gigawatt. Like, at that level, kung papasok sa mga investors na magde-develop ng
So
offshore
yung
wind na
offshore wind, yun yung wind farm na nasa dagat,
nasa
di ba?
dagat.
Oo.
Kaya lang ang mangyayari
So,
nun, hindi natin pwedeng i-utilize lahat yun dahil mag-i-exceed naman hindi naman pwede tayo, based naman sa demand yung supply natin eh.
Oo.
Hindi naman magiging sobra naman yung dami ng supply na yun based dun sa demand natin.
Oo.
Kaya ang possibility is interconnection ng grid sa other ASEAN countries naman. Kung pwede nating i-develop na yun, na pwede tayong mag-export ng electricity. Perhaps kung magkakaroon ng
kung yung transmission line nun, hindi nga natin makonect yung Luzon to Mindoro eh.
Kasi, syempre, medyo may aspirational goal lang
Okay,
naman.
okay, tama naman. Tama
Dapat
naman.
tayong
Oo.
aimed.
So realistically, 'di ba, sabi niya, how long would the transition take and what can the public expect during this period? Ano ba yung transition? The energy transition is transitioning from fossil fuel to a cleaner form of energy like renewable
Renewable
energy, energy efficiency,
Right,
And
right.
other
So,
emerging technologies.
and emerging
Other
technology. So, Prof. Wally, meron tayong ano dyan,
Implementation. Ang issue natin.
I-implement yeah.
Sa tingin ko, well, unang-una naglatag naman na ng tinatawag na National Renewable Energy Program, yung binabanggit mo kanina na 50% by 2040. Actually, kung itutuloy natin siya sa 2050, ang equivalent niyan, 70% renewable energy na yan. Kung i-extend pa rin natin yung trajectory ng NREP na yan. That means may 70% ka sa 2050. Kasi 2050 yung madalas na pinag-uusapan, di ba?
Oo, yung net
even
zero
net zero
commitment nila.
2050. So, sa tansya ko, base doon sa NREP natin, nasa 70% siya. No? Now, meron ba tayong nakikitang linaw na mamimit natin yung aspiration na yon? Sa tingin ko meron kasi 2 taon na tayo ngayon na may tinatawag na green energy auction. And I think ito yung susi kasi itong
auction or option?
auction.
Auction. Yung bidding.
Nagbibid ang kwan. Now, bakit ito sa tingin ko mabisang solusyon over the former feed-in
Feed-in
tariff
tariff,
program?
oo.
Well, number one, it's the Department of Energy who will actually be announcing. So ito ang kailangan kong renewable na kailangan mag-bid. So sa tingin ko, ang magandang implementasyon nga niyan actually is one, ay ayusin din ang polisiya din sa service contracting at saka yung CRES. So kung ako tatanungin, titingnan ko lahat ng CRES natin pagkatapos i-align ko yung transmission development planning doon sa kwan. And then I will announce that okay, our next JAP because of the ito na yung transmission development plan niya, by this time dadating na yung transmission facility para diyan. So ito yung i-auction ko ganitong megawatt.
Prepare the highway for me.
Dapat
diba?
nandito sa lugar na ito. And ang implication nun, yung service contracting, hindi mo nire-reserve ngayon, kundi i-reserve mo sa mananalo dun sa auction later on. Yung service contracting. That's my view. Of course, ang process kasi ngayon, ang polisiya ngayon is that whoever wants to have a service contract, kami nga sa UP, nagulat kami, meron na may service contract sa property ng UP. Hindi namin alam na meron na palang
Surprise!
So, ngayon, pupunta sa amin na humihingi ng permiso, gagamitin nila. Bakit to? May service contract na ho kami.
Those things happen. No?
Yes, those things happen. But what Professor Wally was, I totally agree. Like the JAP, the GEOP also,
Yeah.
the RPS, all of those are signals kasi to investors na, uy, okay, maybe we have a market. There is an opportunity to build something there. And since like every business, naglo-loan yan, nagpe-financing. So we can go to our banks and say, hey, you know what? We have a contract. I think this will work. And then this will be able to finance itself. But again, yun nga, dapat hand-in-hand yan lahat. Our policies are stable. You can rely on the regulation. Yeah. It's not gonna change anytime soon. Yeah, yung parang ganon. So,
Parang yeah,
proper signals lahat yan na, ay, ready na sila. Yeah, pwede na kaming magtayo. Okay na dito, plastado na dito. May kontrata na kami dito.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, yeah, I agree. So, ano pa yung ano nyo? Renewable energy is solar, wind, hydro, biomass.
geothermal.
So, biomass, waste to energy. Yung mga basura natin or waste like agricultural waste, you can convert that to power. So what are your thoughts? Are these more experimental forms? They're proven form of energy, but is it worth exploring for the Philippines?
Everything is worth exploring.
Everything is worth exploring, diba? Why
There's
not?
nothing, you won't lose anything.
Yeah, kasi kung may pera sa basura, diba? And you can
Exactly.
convert that to energy, why not?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to what do you think would expedite the implementation of RE legislations efficiently all the way down to the LGU level? Paano makapag-participate yung mga the public, the general public? Paano sila makapag-participate para ma-increasean yung renewable energy sa barangay nila, sa ano ba yun? Education is one, right?
Kasi meron tayong collaboration with DILG.
Okay.
It's a joint memorandum circular
Oh, ano yan?
2020-01 na guidelines sa LGU for implementation ng energy project. So meron na tayo sa kanilang collaboration, including nga yung IBOS. Meron na rin silang umahawak ng IBOS sa kanila to streamline nga yung permits ng energy project. And also, part nung JMC, meron din dong naka-indicate na they need to assess their energy resources.
No, Dan, I want to explore that kasi, kunyari ako, may project ako. May project ako, let's say, dito sa Quezon City. Pupunta ako sa LGU ng Quezon City, tapos sasabihin ko na may project ako, ganyan-ganyan. So, because of your DILG agreement, ano yung lahat ba ng LGU pirmado dito? Or is it just very selected?
DILG.
Well, DILG is for LGUs, right? So, paano yan?
LGUs.
Lahat na ba sila? Kunyari, kung developer ni Ann ang pumunta doon at sabihin niya na may project ako, so ano kayang, paano niyo ako matutulungan sa LGU, ha?
Actually, meron din silang IBOS doon na part din sa DILG ng IBOS. O siguro, yung IBOS operation nandun din mismo sa local government.
So parang sila yung tumutulong na i-coordinate
Yung
DENR,
right
mga
of way,
NCIP,
lalo na yung right of ways na
ganon.
issues.
Okay.
Natitimbre na agad sila ng national government. In fact, dapat nga yung program ng PEP is reflected dun sa kanila Dahil nagkakaroon ng problema pagka hindi consistent
Hindi
yung
aligned.
dalawang programs.
Pero paano yon? How do you need to educate, di ba? Kasi pwede naman
Cascade.
DILG, it's a big umbrella, tapos hindi nag-filter down sa LGU. Is there any way of educating the
Yeah,
local government?
dapat ang local government, meron din silang unit for energy planning.
Yeah.
Meron din silang capacity, mga tao na hahawak ng resource assessment ng areas nila and to look for reliable investors sa energy, then coordinate this to national agencies sa Department of Energy para yung mga energy project is consistent na madedevelop. Marereduce yung mga
Kasi
hassles
kung meron tayong LGU,
sa permits.
na mga LGU na nakikinig, pwede nilang malaman na, ay pwede pala, may agreement para ang DOE with the DILG na ito yung gagawin para pag merong nagka-interest ng project sa lugar ko, alam ko kung anong gagawin. So yung EVOS na sinasabi natin is the Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop na parang si LGU yung coordinator ng lahat para yung project mas madali, matutulungan nila yung developer para ma-realize in the fastest way. Kailangan agile tayo, mabilis, para masuportahan. So,
Ruth, ano ko lang, share ko
sige,
lang.
sige. Prof. Juan.
We've started piloting the local energy development plan. So we're working with the local government in Butuan City. So it's a very comprehensive energy plan, really. Demand side and supply side, both efficiency and renewable energy. So we have our resource assessment maps already for
So,
Butuan
paano
City,
natin
etc.
mafi-filter down yan? Share it with
yun nga,
the DILG, for example.
We are pioneering this, and our plan is, and this from the perspective of academe, no? Our plan is that after the Butuan local energy development plan, we would
Roll
like
it out.
to disseminate the process so that all LGUs
DILG
would
na. I think
definitely,
it's best
yeah.
for you to connect there.
That's
Kasi
right.
nandun na eh.
Yeah.
Diba? Which is, it's just
Central
the implementation. So thank you for that. I really appreciate. I really enjoyed the discussion in different perspectives. And with that, we've reached the end of our discussion. I know there's still much more we could sink our teeth into, but we've unfortunately run out of time. To close out our conversation, would anyone like to share some final words? But I want to change that. Just one word. Are you optimistic about the Philippines?
Yes, I am optimistic. Otherwise, I will not be here.
Yeah, the power
First
sector.
place.
The power
Yeah.
sector in 5 years, Prof. Wally.
Well, five years from now, kung 5 years pag-uusapan natin, sa tingin ko, magtitiis pa tayo in the next 5 years,
Okay.
given our situation.
Pero mag-i-improve.
Mag-improve siya after 5 years.
And 20 years, ano?
20 years, I'm hopeful. That's why sabi ko nga, optimistic, meaning sinusubaybayan natin kung paano yung reforma na inumpisa ngayon. Sana maituloy ng maayos,
Maituloy.
ma-implemento.
So, hindi tayo bibitaw din,
Oo,
di ba?
yes.
Okay, so Ann, salamat, Prof. Wally.
What's your next question?
Yung question.
Optimist or optimist. Again, otherwise we wouldn't be tirelessly
Oo.
here. We've been here for like how many decades already?
Yeah.
So optimist.
Yeah.
Everyone is an
It's
optimist.
going
Yes.
towards the right direction, you think? The energy sector?
Again,
Are
the
we going to
political will
achieve
and the mandate is there.
energy
Yes.
security? Is there light at the end of the tunnel
There's
for your
always light at
members?
the end of the tunnel. You've got to
Optimist.
believe there's
Believe.
light at the
Okay,
end of the
okay.
tunnel. Yeah, but in the next 5 years, if jumping off from Professor Wally, in the next 5 years, we're still going to face challenges. It's still going to be quite challenging, especially now that there are a lot of issues that urgently needs to be addressed,
Yeah.
but are not yet addressed. So we will be able to see the effects of those in the next 20 to 30 years if we address it
Now.
now.
I think we are addressing it naman. The fact that I see Prof. Wally in the Senate so often, I think...
Yeah, if we address
Yeah,
it now. But
yeah.
5 to 10 years, challenging.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, Dan,
Of course, as a government personnel, it's a
Nakakwalify.
call of duty for me to be optimistic on the development of the Philippines energy sector, particularly. It really requires the subtle planning kasi, and we started that strong momentum, going to a path of clean energy
Transition.
future
Yeah.
and transition. So I think in 5 years, pabilis yung momentum.
Okay.
Lalo na kung we address those issues that sort of hindering us going up. Sa tingin ko, pag natanggal na yung other major issues, then yung momentum natin mas mabilis na sa after 5 years.
after 5 and then 20
so,
years,
yes,
be
mabilis
better.
na mabilis.
It gets better and better.
Multiple na yung development.
Yeah. So, okay. So, thank you very much for those different perspectives. And that wraps up our discussion today. Again, thank you to Dan, Attorney Ann, and Professor Wally for sharing your thoughts with us today. Hopefully, we can all come together to meet our goals in ensuring a brighter future for the Philippines. I'm Ruth Yu-Owen. Thank you for joining us for powering up the race to energy security.